KZ keeps pumping them out. Here's the brand new KZ D-Fi, and this has a cool new feature. You can adjust the sound with a few knobs that are introduced on the IEM itself. A very cool feature, I think, and yeah, we should take a look at this and let's get started. So usually I don't do unboxings, but in this case, KZ D-Fi, I just want to show it to you. It's a boring kind of box, a typical KZ box, but they have lots of features inside here. So we see the IEMs themselves there, and they have a pretty cool design. They come pre-installed with foamy tips, but they are less sticky and rubbery. So they have a new kind of foamy tip here, which is, I think, nice. So it keeps this form, but it's less sticky and rubbery, which is cool. Then we have a metal shell for sure. We can see the nice glossy design here. I think a ventilation hole or something like this. We have the normal QDC connector here, 2-pin. And here we have the possibility to adjust certain things. There we go. There we go. So we have 4 different levels that we can adjust and that have various different options that they can do, just like adjusting the bass 1 dB up, adjusting the bass another dB up or 2 dB ups, and so on. So I will check them out for sure later as well, but I just wanted to show you this is how the IEM looks like, and it's pretty cool. And now let's check out what comes in the box as well. So we have lots and lots of accessories. I think here we have a typical cable, KZ cable. Let's see. It's a budget IEM, so I don't expect the high quality rated cable. Yeah, it's the exact budget IEM KZ cable that we have here, but it's good. It's a good quality cable, doesn't tangle up so much. And yeah, you can get it also with a microphone and controls for your smartphone. Then we have some other tips here, and KZ was listening to me because besides the foamies that are new foamies that I probably like a little bit more, but they also put now in here silicone tips. So as you can see here, I'm not sure if they redesigned those here. They are quite familiar. You can see various different ones. So this is like another one, pair that they have here in various different sizes as well, which is pretty cool. So yeah, very, very good that they putting in a different kind of ear tips. And let me get them out one by one so I can show it to you. Here another one that I think came with the ZNA as well. So bigger one, bigger opening, I mean. And yeah, they have different sizes here as well. So it's fully packed now with ear tips. Great that KZ was listening. So this is like the ultimate customizability, as you can see here. Various different sizes and different ear tips. So you will find definitely an ear tip that will fit for you. And yeah, very, very cool that they ship those in there. And then besides that, because the knobs are quite small if you want to change them, they also have a nice pin or SIM eject tool that you can use to change the knobs here. Otherwise, you cannot come here to change them with your nail because it's like recessed, slightly recessed. So you really cannot reach them without a tool. So this might be a bit of an inconvenience if you are switching them very, very often, but usually you just get your sound stage or sound quality that you want to have, a sound profile that you want to have, and then you keep listening to them. So I will put them in my ear now. We'll tune them a little bit, tweak them, try out the different profiles and the different ear tips as well, and tell you then what I think about the KZ, how they were called, D-Fi. So we see each other in a second. The KZ D-Fi, the brand new IEM from KZ. I'm really, really excited about them. Not because they sound so much better than everything else that KZ did, but they sound different. Something completely different and refreshingly different. They remind me a little bit of the Tangent Zero that have a very neutral kind of profile, sound profile, and they come very close in their default tweaking. And you can see it also on their graph on the home page that they have various different tweakings here. And yeah, you have those different little knobs here on the KZ-D5. And what you can do with them is the number one spot is raising the sub bass 1 dB. Then the number two spot is raising it 2 dB. The number three spot is raising it 3 dB. And number four spot is raising everything 4 dB. And I have to say, everything 4 dB raised doesn't sound so good. I was surprised because I thought, maybe it is sounding a bit better on smartphones, especially on my Sony Xperia devices that I have, just like the 5 Mark IV here that I have with a headphone jack. But no, actually, it didn't sound really better. So the default profile is what I stick to. Sometimes I was raising the sub bass or the bass 1 dB. This was something that I liked to do. So the number one position put to 1 or put to on, which helped a lot. So yeah, as you can see here, this is the default that I'm here using mostly on this IEM right now. And this is the one that I stick to most of the time. Another thing that I noticed is on the IEM itself, I'm not sure if you can see it, how well you can see it here, is that it's slightly angled, as you can see here. The cable is also slightly angled. It's not straight going down there, it's slightly angled. And this helps tremendously with the fit and finish in your ear. You can see how well it fits here in my ear, and sleeping with it, it's not sticking out so much as the other ones. I had no issues like lying down like this on a pillow and sleeping with it even, which is very, very cool indeed as well. And part of it, and this is, I would never imagine like a few weeks ago saying this, is the very good redesigned ear tip that they have. This foamy ear tip. It's completely different than the other foams that they did before that were more sticky and more gluey. They have a different form, shape, and different sound signature. And this sound signature I really like because it's raising the bass a little bit more, or it's a little bit more bassy in comparison to all the other ear tips that I tried as well. But your experience might vary. It depends on the tips that you put. But all the other tips they put in there were also fine, but nothing sealed so nicely as the foamies here, like they should. But all the other foamies before, and I tried it with the other ones are stickier. They have something different. They redesigned the foamies here, and I like those foamies a lot. So KZ, if you're listening, this is the one that you have to put in the future IEMs of yours, especially also the... And super, by the way, I was like complaining about just not only put foamies, but put all other tips in. And this is one of the most customizable IEM ever, not only because of the knobs here on the back, but also because they have foamies, they have different, how they call the whirly tips, and they have this softer white tips as well. Super, super duper, because they're not only changing the sound signature slightly left or right, the way you want it, but also they allow for customizability to a point that it's really, really interesting for especially people who like to listen carefully to music. Let's talk about the knobs here. So are you really noticing any difference? I already told you what it's doing, and yeah, it's really barely noticeable. This is why I raised the number one spot up or turned it on, raising the sub bass or bass. Actually, it's a bass. I think a 1 dB is something that you barely notice in some occasions only, and this is something that is, for my taste, still okay. But if you raise everything, like at least 1, 2, and 3, you will definitely notice a warmer kind of sound and a little bit less clearly highs. I'm not sure why that is, but definitely the vocals, for example, especially manly vocal, become a lot warmer. Women vocal also slightly warmer. But also, I think that the melodic sound that I had with them turned off, the knobs all turned down, was much, much nicer. So much nicer and refreshing that I thought, okay, it doesn't make sense to raise the bass, so I turned it off completely. So my recommendation actually, if you really want to tweak it and you want to make it warmer for certain sounds or games or something like this, then it makes sense to have the customized version. Otherwise, the normal version gives you such a cool and refreshing sound that you can save the, what is it, $1 or $2 that you can save for the non-customizable model, especially if the non-customizable model is not out of stock, as the customizable might be. So otherwise, just get the customizable one. You can tweak it the way you want it, if you want it, which is also very nice. Talking about games a bit, gaming, yeah, it's possible with this because they have like the other KZs, especially the ones that are tested out, the Linglongs and also the ZVX. They have sound stages like average, I would say narrow. It's like not directly like this. It's like this. But the DeFi, they are a little bit wider. This is like ZVX and Linglong, and this is a little bit wider. It's not the widest for sure, but it's a little bit wider and probably has something to do also with the frequency that they can reproduce, which is also something that is very interesting because they go lower and a bit higher than other IEMs typically. So they have a little bit wider soundstage and all-around soundstage, which is very, very nice and very good for gaming, especially when you want to hear the footsteps of your enemy coming, which is something that might be of interest to some people. So I like them for this kind of, I like them for the soundstage, the little bit of wider soundstage, but I like them the most for their melodic kind of sound. I really fell in love with this melodic kind of sound. And the only other IEM that I kept hearing it, and I have to show it to you, is I also have it here, and I never did a review about them for a reason, the Tangim Zero that you can see here. They have a very linear kind of sound, as you can see here. And this is something that is here taken to the extreme, to the Tangim Zero. Here it's not so much linear there, but still very comparable. Immediately those came into my head. And the reason why is because of the bass being not over accentuated. Actually, what the DeFi are doing are raising the highs a little bit. And so the highs are a little bit exaggerated, or like pronounced on this set of IEM, which is very interesting. So it's like a treble boost somehow. Is it making any harsh sounds for that matter? No, not at all, which is very interesting. Is this like bass missing completely? No, not at all. It's just like this punchy bass that you get with the KZ ZAR or other IEMs from KZ, the ZNA that overdoing it, the AS16 Pro, I think it's called. Those here. I think, it's a bit dusty. I think, nope, you don't have this really punchy, loud bass, but you still have clear bass there. And what you will find out is that, especially depending on the music, of course, that you have this like kind of melodic kind of sound. And I think this comes from not having like the bass so high that the mids are like recessed, but the mids are very good. I think the mids are very good. And this is what makes the whole sound melodic and real in some matters. So I would say these are the ones that come closest to reality, to the way you would listen to music when you're listening on a speaker or something like this, a fairly neutral speaker. So these are probably one of the most neutral KZ IEMs I heard ever, and I like it. It's so amazing. I liked already those here. I like the Linglongs, especially for the price. And just guess how much they are. Under 30 euros. And I'm amazed again because like these knobs, I know I saw this kind of technology on far more expensive IEMs that cost like hundreds and thousands even, that have those knobs that are able to change the melody slightly. But of course, it's not a dramatic change. So it's not an equalizer. No comparison with an equalizer. Just this small little tipsy bits that they're changing left and right. Nevertheless, solid build, no issues with this, and no issues with the tips. The fit and comfort is nice. The cable is okay. I really would want to upgrade the cable to something better. Maybe I would steal the KZ Zara cable because it's very, very cool. I like their sound. They are nice and detailed. They have this airiness. They only have a single DD driver for sure. But yeah, this tuning of the sound is so good that it's like refreshing in a way. I'm pretty sure KZR and some more expensive ones, they probably will have a bit more details still in their music. But yeah, it is something special about their sound here, and so special that it makes me want to keep them, makes me want to listen to them more, to have something different in terms of sound. And this is very interesting. We saw already that with the ZVX and with the Ling Long, they're going in a different route, yeah, away from this very over bassy, boosty version, more to a Harman targetish kind of sound here. And with this one here, they're coming to another area where they want to produce a neutral kind of sound, which works quite well, and I'm very surprised by them, positively surprised. So if you like more of a neutral kind of sound, or you like the Tangent Zero and you want something with a detachable cable here, QDC cable, then definitely here, also because the build quality is far better than the Tangent Zero, and also the quality control, maybe because one reason I did not do the review of the Tangent Zero is because they broke mid in my review, basically, and yeah, 15 euros difference to under 30 euros, but they are sounding, they're going in the same direction there. And what do I have on my cheat sheet here? Anything very neutral, slightly treble emphasis, tunable switches. So 1, 2, 3, it's raising the bass, as I said, and 4 is raising everything. And yeah, if you put 1, 2, 3 on, it's warmer. And if you put 4 on, everything's louder. They have a pretty wide soundstage, okay? These are my notes that I have here on my Easter Bunny kind of notepad, little notepad that actually I caught during Carnival times. And they're throwing like candies, but apparently they were out of candies, and they were throwing out notebooks, little notebooks for kids to write down their appointments or something like this, ideas. Anyway, these are the KZ DeFi. I really can recommend them. You can find the link down below to the KZ website where you can get them immediately. There are 2 versions of them, the one with the tunable knobs and the one without the tunable knobs. If you like the sound of Tangent Zero, very neutral kind of sound, but still detailed and melodic kind of sound, then you can also grab the non-knob version, basic non-tunable version for sure. That's everything for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Until the next time, bye.